You're watching ABC News Breakfast. It's a busy week in federal politics with two key pieces of legislation dominating debate in Canberra. One of those is the government's new workplace laws. The opposition hasn't yet revealed whether it's going to support the laws.
Meanwhile, new figures show that Australian job advertisements have fallen by a record 40% in the last year. And for more, the opposition spokesman on employment participation, Andrew Southcott, joins us now from Canberra. Andrew Southcott, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Virginia.
The figures aren't good, and indeed governments and countries around the world are grappling with this very problem of, as the IMF tells us today, us being in a global deep recession. What's to be done? What's the best response, do you think?
Well, I think one of the most important things is to inspire a bit of confidence. What I found in my electorate talking to small business owners is they are just desperate to have some confidence from some of our leadership. And it's incredible that while we need confidence, the Prime Minister persists on talking about a rolling economic crisis, talking about an economic storm, talking about
cyclones. Well, he's right, of course. I mean, that's exactly what the IMF is saying, Andrew Southcott. He's not Robinson Crusoe there.
Using this sort of language. The second thing is that it is extraordinary at a time when we see from the ANZ Job Series the largest fall over a year since this series began, that the government are introducing two pieces of legislation, their industrial relations legislation and also their emissions trading scheme, and either will not say or do not know what the impact of these pieces of legislation will be on jobs.
The question really went to what the government should do in order to try and get things going again, the challenge for every government around the world. And you say confidence. So picking up on that, I wonder what you think of what the Productivity Commission has to say about how you get economies moving again and how you get people back into jobs. And the economic gains, it concludes, from increasing the size and the quality of human capital through better health, education and training and increased work incentives could be equal, it believes, to the gains from all other available competition policy put together. What's your view?
Well, my view is the Productivity Commission have laid out a very good agenda there, and that agenda has been adopted by COAG, and that's looking at how do you address, for example, with young people, the people who are not in full-time education or full-time employment. We still have too many teenagers and too many people in their early 20s who are either not in full-time education or full-time employment. And one of our concerns as an opposition has been that in focusing specifically on youth unemployment, the government has not actually identified any specific initiative for youth unemployment. But I think the Productivity Commission has their human capital agenda is a very good one. It is actually outlining a way we can increase the size of our economy, we can increase GDP over time.
It's an interesting approach, and it's a holistic approach, if you like, to look at the sort of the general health of a country's economy. It's possibly a good way, and I know that your leader, Malcolm Turnbull, speaks often about a bipartisan approach. It's a good opportunity, surely, isn't it, for the opposition to get on board in talking about health and education and training, all of those key elements working together in order to get an economy back up on its feet. Is it one that you might be prepared to take up?
Well, the Productivity Commission report, some of the work on this was done in 2006, 2007, when the Howard government were still in office, and it's not an area that where there has been a partisan divide. Of course, we would like to see a lot of things which raise the speed limits for growth for our economy, and also which expand the size of our economy in the future. But it does, while we have some very detailed analysis from that Productivity Commission report that you mentioned, I find it extraordinary that we do not have any detailed analysis on what will be the impact of jobs of Labor's Fair Work Bill and what will be the impact on jobs of their emission trading scheme. Well,
Penny Wong is saying very clearly, just sticking with the emissions trading scheme, the impact is going to be the creation of a whole new generation of jobs under an ETS and with clean and green energies. You don't accept that?
I watched Penny Wong's performance on Lateline very carefully last night, and it was very interesting. She was unable to quantify what would be the impact on jobs of emission trading scheme, and this is something which Australian families would like to know, small businesses would like to know. She has said, sure, that there will be an expansion of green jobs, but what we want to know is what will be the overall employment impact of the emissions trading scheme. We now have a Senate inquiry which will be looking at a number of things, including this very issue.
Andrew Southcott, thanks for your time today.
Thank you for having me on the show, Virginia.
Now remember, you can always send your comments about the news stories that we're covering today and the interviews that we're doing to ABC News Breakfast. That email address is breakfast@your.abc.net.au. You can send pictures, video or text messages to 042 999 6655.
The US Vice President